Hey kids, it is your man Dan here for another deep dive review from FMV Archive. Today we are reviewing the Double Switch from 1993. This is the PlayStation release from Limited Run Games. It is number 194 from Limited Run. They always do a great job at releasing a game. You can also find this on mobile, you can find this on the Switch. It was originally released in 1993 for the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn. So there's a bunch of different ways to find this. If you want to play it, it is not hard to find. You may not recognize him from his bleach blonde hair, but yeah, that's 90s, well, 80s heartthrob. Haim is in this one. He is your main character in this one. And he really starts off kind of a star-studded cast. Haim is the lead. You got R. Lee Ermey, which you may recognize him from, I don't know, the 150 movies that he's done. Most notably, Full Metal Jacket.
Because I am hard, you will not like me. What side was that, Private Pile?
Sir, left side!
Really good in the Michael J. Fox movie, The Frighteners. He plays a really good role in that. You also have Debbie Harry in a black wig. Yes, Blondie fame Debbie Harry. Yes, that Debbie Harry plays a role in this. It's a very odd role. What you will find that most of the characters have odd roles. Also has Erwin Keyes, who kind of has a unique look to him. He's in a whole bunch of movies, usually plays a bad guy, kind of a thug type of villain guy in movies. Couldn't find any sales numbers for this, but I can't imagine they were great. You rarely hear of this game. You don't see it on forums too much. Double Switch is the name of the game, but like that really doesn't have anything to do with anything, and it doesn't tell you what it is. And if you look at the box art, it is just pictures of the famous people that are in it, not necessarily any of the gameplay and what you'll actually be doing in it. That, I think, probably hurts overall sales. Also released just for the Sega CD and the Sega Saturn. Kind of niche systems, even at their height of their popularity. Kind of only had one market for it, so not that many of these out there. A lot of people call this a Night Trap clone, which it kind of is, and we've also reviewed Night Trap. You can check that out here on our channel. It is similar. You run around trapping people. It is made by a lot of the same people that did the Night Trap game and Sewer Shark for the Sega CD. Rob Fulop, Terry McDaniel, James Riley, all these people worked on either Night Trap and or Sewer Shark and are now working on Double Switch. So the one main thing that is missing that Double Switch does not have that Night Trap did have is that little clock in the corner that had kind of like a running time. So on replays, you would know it. 13 minutes and 13 seconds, I need to go into the living room because there's going to be an auger there and I'm going to catch them. You don't have this in this game. This game is absolutely brutal. It's about 45 minutes total on runtime, but my God, there is no way you're going to beat this on your first time, your second time, your 63rd time maybe even, unless you have a guide and you are just laser fast on your choices. The punishment for not catching something or not doing things in the right order, absolutely brutal, and that really detracts from the game. So what is the game? It's actually set up in 3 acts, the game calls it, and those are your save points. At the end of Act 1, you get one. At the end of Act 2, you get one, and that's it. So you better be right on, and there is no, hey, we'll just take you back 30 seconds if you die, if you miss something. No, you start all the way at the beginning of that act, and you have to do it all over again. You never really get to see any of the movie while you're playing the game because you have to be so quick and there are so many bad guys to catch in this. So you never see the actual interactions with the characters, which if you're able to watch on a full playthrough, are actually really good. The movie part, the FMV stuff in this one is excellent, but you really never get to see it. In each act, you have a task to complete. Act 1, you need to find a code so Eddie, Haim, can get out of the basement and get back into the apartment complex. Act 2, you need to find new traps so you can catch everybody. Act 3 is a boss fight. You need to catch the boss 6 times. If you miss the boss any of those 6 times, guess what? Back to the beginning of Act 3, you gotta do it all over again. Very difficult. So they obviously spent a lot of money on this. Maybe the success of Night Trap gave them a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of backing to say, hey, go do this again, so they went all out. The other thing that you'll find frustrating about this game is that it lies to you. Eddie will tell you to catch people, and all of a sudden you're not supposed to catch them, and if you do catch them, game over, start at the beginning of the act. That gets frustrating. It is really a trial and error game. The storyline is really weird and kind of confusing, and believe me, if you play it through, you will not know what the storyline is, even when you beat the game. Eddie, Haim, is trapped in the basement. He cannot get out. He has a surveillance system of cameras all throughout this apartment building that he works at. He is going to you to help him get out. So you have to watch the surveillance, you have to catch people in the traps for Eddie to get out of the basement. That is Act 1. Act 2, you need to find these new traps. Arlie Emery is the janitor / Eddie's dad, which again, if you're playing the game, you might actually pick that up. There's also this idol that is kind of being passed around in Act 2. What does that play into it? You have no idea because you really can't listen to things. There's a heavy metal band playing upstairs. There's all of a sudden ninjas popping up. All the while, these bad guys are shutting off the electric to your place. They are capturing guests, which will also end the game. Otherwise, just wreaking havoc. And you need to catch these guys over and over and over. I believe there's 147 traps you can set in this game. And the game's about 45 minutes. So do the math. You're doing about 3 traps a minute. It is relentless you trapping people on this. Let's get to the review and see if this is something that you want to try out. Number 1, look and graphics. Really, this is quite amazing. From the title screen through all the full motion video, the actual trapping system, not too great. It would probably have been much worse on the Sega CD when it was initially released. Again, I'm playing a crisper, better 4K version on my TV now. It looks a lot better, but I can imagine it was a lot worse back then. So that is a little bit lacking. You think there would have been an upgrade from Night Trap to this, but I actually think it's a downgrade. On top of that, we're missing that timer too, which really makes a big difference in the end. Overall though, this is a 9. It looks great. Gameplay, it is hard. It is, I would say, a 1 out of 10 on this. I'm sorry, but it is brutal, it is hard. It really doesn't make sense in a lot of times, and you can miss catching every bad guy and only doing the ones that you have to do to progress the story, and you get the same result. There are also no cues to what the important ones to catch are. You just kind of have to guess. I need to go to this room, even though there are 2 rooms that simultaneously have bad guys in. You need to pick the right one to get that code so you can give it to Eddie so he can get out of the basement so you can get to Act 2. It's not fun, it's just more frustrating than anything. So overall for gameplay, only a 1. The story, if you watch the whole story and you watch it in its movie form, it's pretty good. There's some intrigue there, there's switcheroo, there's some M. Night Shyamalan, oh my goodness. There is enough characters in there that make it interesting. However, you don't see any of it while you're playing. It is incredibly frustrating that you miss all the good FMV stuff that is in this game because you're too busy catching the bad guys, some which are absolutely irrelevant to the gameplay. Otherwise, if you do get the story, it's pretty good. So we're going to give it a 7, but you're really going to have to do work to actually watch it. Number 4, dialogue. This is probably the biggest improvement from Night Trap to Double Switch. The writing is much better. It is much more serious in tone, even though there are some goofy moments. It's a lot better. It's a lot less campy. It's also an improvement on a lot of FMV games that are just nonstop question asking. This is actual story that you're seeing here. Everything that happens in the story too makes sense and it comes together in the end. Even though it's a little bit goofy, everything in there is important and it actually leads to a somewhat satisfying ending. Even though the very, very ending is a little bit goofy. Number 5, the consequences. There are no consequences other than death. That is it. It doesn't matter to the story 1% what you pick, other than you have to start at the beginning of the act. So for the consequences, sorry, we gotta give you a 0 double switch because it doesn't matter. It doesn't even matter if I catch all these guys. Your choices don't matter at all. Number 6, acting. This is A+. This is right up there with the X-Files game. This is professional actors through and through. Good direction, good everything. It's a 10. Arlie Emery at times, I think he knows what he's in, so you see the effort that he gives sometimes, but it's still really good. Corey Haim is actually trying pretty hard in this, it looks like to me. Debbie Harry's doing a really good job in it. 10 out of 10 for this one. Number 7, direction and cinematography. It's pretty darn good. The set pieces are very nice. The camera moves nice. Even though a lot of people are looking into the screen, talking to the surveillance video, they are giving a good effort. It's pretty darn solid for this one. I'm surprised this is actually not one they made a little bit longer to make it a movie, but maybe it was just budget constraints because they had big actors. Who knows? I would have liked there to be that timer on there. I'm going to put that in the direction place right here. That takes off some points. That's what makes Night Trap so playable and so memorable and easy. You always have that timer so you know this exact time, this is when I have to do it. It's missing it here, so we're going to give you a 6 for direction and cinematography. The music, easy, 10. Thomas Dolby does it, knocks it out of the park. Beginning intro, awesome. In-game, when you hear it, is awesome. I mean, everything is really good music-wise. Everything's professional. The sound is actually surprisingly good for a 1993 game as well. So everything's good. Thomas Dolby, like I said, knocks it out of the park. 10 out of 10. Excellent. Number 9, my favorite word, inventiveness. Is this inventive? Is this anything that is unique to the FMV world? Not at all. As a matter of fact, it's a ripoff and a poorly done one, to be quite honest. It is ripping off Night Trap, and it is not doing a good job. It is ripping off Sewer Shark, and it is doing not a good job. You would have thought the things that they learned that worked and didn't work in those games, they would have incorporated a double switch. They didn't. The only thing I will say is that the music, that is inventive here. Actually getting an actual composer to come in and do fresh new music for this game, that's something that really didn't happen in FMV games all that much. It's kind of canned music you usually get. So this is excellent. So I'm going to give you a 1 out of 10 just because you put the effort into the music. Number 10 in our 10 categories of review for Double Switch, the 1993 Sega CD game. It is fun. How much fun is this game? It's kind of fun, especially at the beginning when you don't really know what you're doing. You're kind of going into it and you're like, oh man, okay, now I know I need to catch this guy here and I know I need to save this woman here. And that's a little bit fun, but when you keep dying, it gets really repetitive and really annoying that you're like, why can't I save this game? That gets really tough to do. And I'm not seeing the story while I'm playing this game. I'm too panicked to make sure I get that last digit on the code because I know I need to get that to get Eddie out of the basement. So I'm not focusing on the things I should be focusing on that would make it fun. So for fun, I'm gonna give you a 4 out of 10 on this one. Could be a lot better, but could be a whole lot worse too. All right, wild card. This is where I can give plus or minus points based on something that maybe wasn't covered in these 10 topics that we normally go over. This one, I'm going to give you 1 bonus point for having Corey Haim on the cover of Tiger Beat more times than anyone. That's not a fact. I just made that up, but he probably was on it quite a bit. He's really cool back in the 80s. I loved Corey Haim. I loved Dream a Little Dream. I love License to Drive. And no 90s DVD collection would have been complete without The Lost Boys, an absolute classic. I loved him in that. So you're getting a bonus point for having one of the 2 Coreys in your FMV game. So the final verdict. Is this something that you want to play, should play, watch a playthrough video? Do you want to invest any more time to Double Switch? I think this little brief snippet from the Electronic Gaming Monthly December 1995 issue with a review of the game will kind of sum it up pretty nicely. Players who are expecting a revamped version of Night Trap are sadly mistaken. This title boasts nothing more than a fallen star thrown in with other B actors that have as much of a future as this title. End quote. That's pretty accurate. This game is really not great, but it's kind of fun. I mean, there are much worse FMV games out there, but your mileage may vary on this one. If you love Corey Haim, if you love weird stuff, if you love a challenge, then give this one a shot, because it is hard. Most FMV games are point, click, discover, move on, make a choice, game over, whatever. This is really tough, and it is really very little actual direction on what you should do. Eventually, I just got super frustrated with it. There is a part where you have to turn off the trap as something is chasing you and turning on the trap, and there's really no rhyme or reason to how that works. It's not a very good mechanic, and it is brutal. It took me like 15 times to get past that part. And if you do get past that part, there are other things that you need to do to make sure you get to the end of the act that will save the game so you don't have to do that thing that you failed 15 times on. So that just wasn't very much fun for me. Overall for points, we give Double Switch a 59. So it's not the worst game we've ever played. It's by far not the best. And like I said, it may be something that you enjoy. Otherwise, thank you for watching. If you like this video, hit the like button. Heck, hit subscribe. Why not? We're gonna have a whole bunch of other FMV stuff in terms of reviews, top 10 lists, thoughts on upcoming trailers and games. This will be your home for full motion video games. So if you like that, please come back. Thank you.